My name is Eleanor Vance, and I am 63 years old. This house, the one I've lived in for 35 years here in this small Ohio town, is quiet now. It's a silence so deep it has a sound. It's the sound of the old refrigerator humming, a sound I never noticed when the house was filled with the noise of my son, Daniel. Every time the mailman drops the letter through the slot, my heart leaps, thinking it's a package from him, a sign. But it never is. The only sound is the echo of a life that used to be here, a life I built with these two hands. I often look at my left hand, at the faint silvery scar that puckers the skin across my palm. It's a map of my love. I got this scar when Daniel, he was just Danny then, was 5. It was a Saturday morning and I was making pancakes. He was so small, so curious, and he wanted to help. He reached up for the handle of the black cast iron skillet, not knowing it was sizzling hot. I didn't think. I just moved. I grabbed the skillet handle from his tiny hand, the searing heat welding itself to my skin. I didn't even make a sound. I just held him, my own hand burning, checking his face, his fingers, making sure he was safe. The pain was a distant white noise. Seeing his face, safe, was everything. When his father, Michael, passed, God, it's been 15 years. Daniel became my entire world. He was only 14, but he was so serious, so grown up. He'd sit at the kitchen table with me, holding my hand. "Mom, don't worry. I will take care of you. I'm going to be a lawyer, and you will never have to worry again. I promise." He wasn't just my son. He was my friend, my confidant. We were a team. We'd share a single pot of coffee in the evenings, laughing about the town gossip or dreaming of his future. His dreams were my dreams. I cashed in my entire 401k, the small nest egg I'd saved from 20 years of working as a clinic receptionist, to help pay for his law school. I told him it was just extra money Michael had left. I never told him about the double shifts I pulled at the local diner for 6 years, serving coffee and pie until 2 a.m. just to cover his books and rent. A mother's sacrifices are meant to be silent, aren't they? They are the foundation you pour for your child's skyscraper, and you are not supposed to mind being left in the shadows. If you're still listening to my story, tell me where you're watching from. Do you know this kind of silence I'm talking about? The silence that comes after you've given your whole life, your whole voice to someone, and the only thing you get back is an empty room? If this story feels like yours, please hit the like button. It helps a lonely heart to know it's not the only one. Daniel is a big lawyer now. Daniel M. Vance, Esquire. He lives in a beautiful glass apartment in Chicago, a city that's only a 3-hour drive away. But 3 hours? It feels like it's on the other side of the moon. He has a new life, a successful, beautiful wife, Jessica, who is also a lawyer. They are busy. That's the word he uses, busy. It's a small word, but it's as high as a mountain, as wide as an ocean, a wall I cannot climb. "Mom, I'm swamped. I'll call you back." "Mom, I'm in court." "Mom, we have a partners retreat this weekend." He never calls back. The silence stretches. First, it was a day, then a week. Now, I can't remember the last time we just talked. Not a hurried 2-minute check-in, but a real conversation. The kind where I can hear him smile, Today, today is March 10th. It's the anniversary of Michael's passing. For 15 years, this was our day, Daniel and mine. We'd go to the small cemetery, place new flowers, and then I'd come home and make his father's favorite beef stew, the recipe that takes 6 hours. I woke up at dawn. I made the stew. The house smells like family. I thought, maybe I'll surprise him. I'll just drive to Chicago. I'll just sit in his lobby and wait. But then the fear stopped me. A cold, heavy fear. What if he's not happy to see me? What if I'm an interruption, an embarrassment? His wife, Jessica, she's so polished. The last time I visited, she smiled, but her eyes were cold. She said my stew was too heavy and not great for their macros. I stayed in their spotless guest room and felt like a ghost in my own son's home. So I didn't go. I sat in my chair, the one by the window, and I called him. I clutched the phone, my heart pounding like a trapped bird. I just wanted to hear his voice. I just wanted to say, I went to the cemetery for both of us. The phone rang. Once, twice, and then she picked up. Not Daniel, Jessica. Oh, hi, Eleanor. She's bright, like glass. Gee, hi, honey. Is Daniel there? Eleanor, he's incredibly busy. We're actually hosting a brunch right now for some of the partners from his firm. He's not in a place to be nostalgic today. You get it, right? Nostalgic. That's what she called it. Remembering his father? Before I could even whisper, but I made the stew, I heard the click. She had hung up. I sat there, the receiver still in my hand, the dial tone buzzing in my ear. The stew, his father's stew, was growing cold on the stove, and I finally understood. The boy whose hand I'd saved from the fire was now too busy to remember his own father. He didn't just choose silence. He had chosen to erase the past. And I, his mother, was just a part of that past he decided to leave behind. I hung up the phone. I didn't cry. Crying is for people who still have hope. I felt cold. I walked into the kitchen. The rich, dark smell of the beef stew, the smell of my husband, the smell of 15 years of shared grief felt like a mockery. It was the smell of a life that was over. I picked up the heavy pot, walked to the back porch, and emptied the entire 6 hours of work onto the dying hydrangeas. I didn't feel angry. I felt empty. I felt like a house that had been cleared out, room by room, until nothing was left but the dust. I went inside and washed the pot. I scrubbed it until my knuckles were white, the same hand with the scar. I scrubbed away the smell, the memory, the love. The next few days, the silence was different. It was no longer a lonely silence. It was a hostile one. Every time the phone rang, I flinched. It was always a telemarketer or my friend Martha from the church. It was never him. He didn't call on March 11th to apologize. He didn't call on the 12th. A whole week went by. The brunch was over, the partners were gone, but the silence remained. He wasn't just busy, he was gone. A part of me, the part that had sacrificed everything, had turned to ice. Then a new problem started.
A letter arrived. It was from the bank, the one that held the small mortgage I still had on the house. It was full of words I didn't understand. Adjustable rate? Balloon payment? Principal increase? It said my monthly payment was going to nearly double. I read it 3 times. My hands, the ones that used to be so steady, were shaking. I had worked at a clinic, I knew numbers, but this was legal language. This was Daniel's world. This was the one thing I had him for. For years, he'd glance at any document for me and say, "It's fine, Mom," or "Sign here, Mom." Now I was alone with a piece of paper that threatened to take my house. This